For 400 years, people of color suffered at the hands of their oppressors. Within those 400 years, they experienced sodomization, rape, ill treatment, being hunted down and treated like chattel on the field. 400 years later, we're still here. We're being hunted down, treated like cattle, treated like deer, hunted as sport. Young children are being destroyed at the hands of white men, and they're being labeled as mentally unstable or putting their actions on video games. Nobody's really taking accountability for what they're doing to people of color. Puerto Rico has lost their ability, or not even given the ability to access human decency and benefits like Social Security, retirement, all of the benefits that we reap from. We reap from their minerals and their resources, but they can't benefit from the same system that we benefit from, and they are part of us. Women's rights and the repealing of Roe v. versus Wade is on the table. A lot of black women aren't socializing or verbalizing their opinions on it because they don't have one. A lot of it is white women having an opinion. And there's a lot of them having a strong opinion because they're not producing babies like black women are. The scary thing about this is that because there is an onslaught of murders and killings, it does not get better. With time, we would think that we will progress out of this and beyond this, but it seems like those old Jim Crow leaders are still alive and they just will not die away. I can't be silent. And to be silent is to be complicit. 400 years, and we're still fighting. 400 years, and we're still dodging bullets. We're still running from white men. Not white women, but for 400 years, we've been mistreated. For 400 years. And now, after those 400 years, we're still trying to live. But what happens when we get tired of running? What happens when we get tired of fighting to live and we turn around and turn the hunters into the hunt? What happens when we begin to hunt those who hunt us? What then will they say of us? Will they call us thugs? Will they call us rioters, looters? What would they call us? If we turn those same guns on suburban white people like they've turned on us and shoot up their communities, what happens if we start turning the guns from out of the projects and off the drug corners and into the suburban communities? What happens when we start throwing Molotov cocktails to their windows, burning down their churches? What happens when we start burning Black Lives Matter markers inside of these white evangelical churches? When will they stand up? When will it end? When will it stop? We have come through martyrs of our time. We've come through a number of people who were heroines of our time. We've had Malcolm, we've had Martin, we've had a number of people, Rosa. We've had so many different people, Frederick Douglass, who've helped pave the way. Sometimes I think and wonder, what did they pave the way for? Because even though they were abolitionists and civil rights leaders, did she have the vision that it will get worse than what it is today? How far did they see into the future? To know that our struggles, our issues, our fight still continues today. We have been fighting for years just for our little piece of dirt. We've been fighting just to enjoy our little piece of corn of the earth. But it seems like that we are still hunted. We're still chased. We're still stalked, mistreated, attacked on our jobs, and abused. We have gone through and seen people still be hung. It is very much so a disrespect to our culture and to our ancestors that they would just make hanging or lynching against the law. What took you so long to decide that it was an inhumane thing to do? What took you so long to decide that it was just not right? It's amazing that when we discuss the crimes that white people commit against black people, they want to bring up black on black crime. We didn't say that we didn't have an issue with black on black crime. But you have been guilty of killing us for years. And you've got away with it over and over and over again. Eventually, you're going to run out of options. Because eventually what's going to happen is you're going to pull a gun and realize that you've pulled the gun in the wrong community. You think you're going to go to a mall and pull a gun, and you're going to find out that inside that mall is some of our own thug serials. And when you shoot, they're going to shoot. You all don't think in your organized crimes to go out and kill people. It's inhumane to murder another human being, let alone to go and shoot babies and kill children. We have prayed and prayed and prayed, cried and cried. We have shed more tears as a culture than any other culture is. But when black people do it, they're animals. When white people do it, they're mentally disabled, they're unstable, they're retarded. Why is there such a difference when crime is crime and murder is murder? I don't care who pulls the trigger. I don't care if you are Roger Rabbit. If you kill somebody, you're a murderer. I don't care how retarded they try to make you seem, how crazy they make you feel, you're a murderer. I said this a while ago and it triggered some people. But I discovered this when I was getting, in the process of getting my PhD. When you go back and look at psychology, psychiatry, all those things, they were never created for black people. They were never created for white women or black women. They were created for white men to get away with their crimes. Every one of those theories that were written by old racist white men who had a reason to believe in their own consensus that it is what it is. Now it's evolved over time, and new theories have developed and new ways have developed. But the pattern has not shifted. White men still use that terminology. White men still profess insanities and craziness to be the sounding board or the reasoning behind someone snapping under pressure. You lost your job, so you go kill a whole bunch of black people. Black people did not cause you to lose your job. Why didn't you shoot your boss? You're angry and you're unstable, and so you go destroy and shoot up a mall. Why didn't you shoot up your household? You go kill people who had nothing to do with the problem, that whatever you're facing, which means that it's not a mental disorder. It's not a psychotic break. It was intentional. You can't paint a picture and say that, oh, this was something mental. I didn't get this far in education as a college student to sit and look at all of this stuff and say, oh, well, he was mentally retarded. Screw that. He would have never passed the background test check. And he was mentally retarded and clinically retarded, or on legal documentation retarded, he would have never been able to have access to a gun. Because a part of you being able to access a gun is when they do that background check on you, is to make sure that there's no medical diagnosis of any mental disabilities. Regardless of your state have those laws, it's a federal background check that takes place. So make it make sense. before you begin to upset a community who has not said anything yet, who has not did much yet. But you can only keep doing so much over and over again until it is no longer in your hands to heal it or repair it. I'm sorry to say this to you, and that is, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to stop what comes next. You got to remember what you're causing. White women don't ask for black people help when it comes to productive rights and reproductive rights. Stop saying that it's this foolishness, and for the sake of it, people who you pro-life people can go eat dirt, because the truth of the matter is you ain't never been pro-life since the day you knew what inception was. Never been pro-life, because had you been pro-life, you'd have the same energy that you've had when they were trying to change abortion rules. You would have had the same energy that you have now when they were killing innocent black people. You are not pro-life, you're pro-white. Let's just be clear. You're pro-white. And there's a difference between being pro-life and pro-white life. Because if you're pro-white life, just say that. Don't come at us talking about I'm pro-life. No. You're pro-white life. That's all it's ever been about. It's about white lives. Not nobody else. This whole country was built off the back of black people and being built off the back of minorities, and here it is. We can't get reparations, but you can send billions of dollars, Biden, of aid to the Ukraine. Make it make sense. And we're still paying. Black people are more in debt due to college loans. And we're still sending billions of dollars of aid to everywhere else, and we can't get reparations. How is it that we were able to come up with the numbers that we came up with for Japanese internment camp members and those survivors? How were we able to come up with those numbers to give them a check? How? I don't get how we can come up with the numbers of billions of dollars and we're able to send money to Venezuela and Brazil, to South America, Sinaloa. We send, and Sinaloa was just an example, just because I know we don't send no money to Sinaloa. But what I'm saying, how are we able to send billions of dollars to these countries? How? And here it is that the black and brown people right here, and they were promised 40 acres and a mule, and they never got it. You can give us one state and we'll be fine. But here lies the problem. If our lives matter, then make them matter. Make it illegal. Make it very much so illegal to use the N-word, to threaten or taunt black people or black and brown people. Make it very much so illegal for you to even use any racial epithet around black people, any derogatory terminologies. You want to protect us? Protect us. But make everything illegal that reflects off of racism, that denigrates us, that redlines us, gerrymanders us. Make it illegal. If you make it illegal, and then you give us what we did not have the opportunity to have access to: education, jobs, promotions. Make it illegal for these governors who are changing all these laws that don't say gay bill and that people can't be held accountable for a racist past and all this stuff. Listen, a little word to the wise. There are more of us than there are more of you. And Republicans fail to realize this, that the more you keep pissing people off, you pushing more people democratically away from you. You pushing people who are even Republicans away from you. So those Democrats you could have swayed over, they're not coming. And those people that are Republicans, you're pushing them away from you. So
a shooter, a mass shooter type shit.
Here lies the question. What are you gonna do? Because eventually what will happen is that you're going to get a civil war because you refuse to put Johnny in check and put a belt on his behind because he's quote unquote mentally unstable. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. There's nothing wrong with your child but needs a nice firm spanking or a beating. Bring him down here to the country. Take him in the projects. Let Big Mama take Big Mama house in the field. She'll braid a couple of Peachtree switches and she'll tame that tail. And she'll beat the stupid out of him, and that's what you think he is. If that's what you're trying to say he is. It's amazing that white people can get away with some of the craziest stuff in the world. There's a white lady, don't know her by name, but I know her case from a medical office. And the white lady gets 100% disability. I mean the max, because she says she's afraid of black people. So, think about it. How many of us can start professing and claiming that we're afraid of white folks and get disability? I think we should try. Because if white people can get disability checks for being crazy, we might as well go get some checks for being crazy too. Doesn't make any sense that you all won't get your children and sit down and have a difficult conversation with them. I don't care if you're a child, I really don't care if you're racist or not, but you need to have a conversation with your children. And the conversation needs to start off with, listen, you may not like black people, we may not like black people, we may not like brown people, but we can't bother them. We cannot treat them differently because we don't like them. We cannot shoot guns at them because we don't like them. Because what's going to happen is this. Y'all remember Rosewood, right? I want every white person to think about Rosewood tonight when they lay down. But I want you to think about it in reverse roles. Instead of it being a white woman lying, think about it as a black woman or a black man just pouring gas all through your suburban streets. Pouring gas all over your suburban houses. Black people, while you're sleeping at night, black people throwing gas bombs in your house while you're sleeping, terrorizing your communities and burning your neighborhoods down like you did white people, like you did black people in the years ago. You remember the Gullah Wars, right? Of course you do. That's when Lincoln freed the slaves. See, the Gullah Wars had nothing to do about slavery, slaves being released. But Gullah Wars had a whole lot to do with about you guys getting y'all tail tore up. See, Lincoln didn't free the slaves. Lincoln signed that document to save white people from being killed because of the Gullah Wars. Go look it up. The Gullah Geechees and the Gullah Wars back in the day, where white people were almost annihilated. See, we talk about not having the numbers, but even black people fail to realize they don't do the research or the statistics. They don't dig enough to see that we have more than an onslaught of numbers. We have a leading capacity of numbers. And the truth of the matter is this. Don't start problems that you don't want. We've been quiet long enough, but if we start doing to you what you've done to us, then the news report's gonna ring out a bit differently in the mornings. There's gonna be an all-out manhunt for Buki and JoJo and little Todd, and there's gonna be an onslaught. Listen, I can see it now. Wanted. And how about this? It's gonna be different than your news report for white people. See, white people can get arrested for killing 1 million people and they survive. Matter of fact, you pull out a taser when they got a gun. But let it be Buki and them go burn up a whole suburban community. You got SWAT team, DHS, hazmat. You looking for it. You locked down the whole neighborhood. Matter of fact, you've locked down the whole city. The whole city. Can't nothing go in it. You've done roadblocks. You got helos flying around. All of that. For a black person. When white people do it, oh, I got time today. When white people do it, oh, it's a different story. It's a whole different story. But the table's gonna turn. The tables will turn. And when they turn, do not ask us to bring our sons home. Do not ask us to bring our nephews home. Because remember, you're starting this. We're not starting anything. We're minding our business, and we're trying to stay away from you people because we understand that getting involved with you in a way that, when retaliatory way, it becomes a conflicted problem. But the minute we try to stay away from y'all, y'all find a way to find us. And let's just be clear that I love everybody, but I see clearly as to what this is going to cause. Because eventually what happened is that y'all going to run into some old nappy heads, old knotty-head project-based children. And when they get done, yeah. Don't get on the news asking us, can we identify? Don't come in our community because we don't snitch. We ain't telling you nothing. What you gonna do, bring a few torches in our community? We'll be waiting on y'all. Because when you think we don't have what you have, we have more than what you have. Because the sad thing about it is that you got your guns from the gun store. Our guns came from drug cartels and drugs and stuff like that. So we got guns that y'all probably ain't never seen before. We got some weapons that y'all probably ain't never had y'all hands on before. Because you got to remember, the drug operation is a drug gang. It's a cartel. So you got to be strapped with a whole bunch of guns. A whole bunch of guns. So when you think that we don't have what you have, I double check. We have more than what you have. Because our bullets come off the black market. And you'll never know what we have in arsenal. But you got to understand this, and I'm going to say this, and that is, it's time to cut it out. It's time to stop. Please stop. I'm asking you, Biggie, please stop with all this killing these innocent babies, innocent black and brown people. Please stop. Because you're going to start something that you cannot finish. And when you start it, do not call somebody on the news. Don't come in no black community asking us, where can we find? Because we ain't gonna know who you're talking about. Because you're gonna come there to my, can you help us find Darius? And we're gonna be looking at you like, we don't know Darius. Because see, unlike y'all, we don't call people by their real name in our community. All kind of nicknames. You'll never get your first name. So when you come and say, Darius, we can't help you at all. So if you don't learn to stop, we'll teach you. And when you get taught that lesson, it's not going to end well. Stop killing innocent people. Go home. Go home. Stop killing innocent black and brown people, or it's going to cost you a minute and a minute tears.